Hello and welcome to another edition of the Paul's Body Engineering Podcast. Another solo edition this week. I'm running solos often at the moment just because I've got really good topics to talk about. And while some of the interviews I've done over the many years I've been doing this podcast have been outstanding and very inspirational, sometimes it's great just to sit down and have a conversation and obviously detail what a current topic is about. You know, it might be something that's currently trending online, trending on social media, they've spoken about in the news, or in most cases, which I do obviously talk about, I often get the question from a client in a conversation, and I go, you know what, that's really worthwhile talking about. Now, on this occasion, it's actually not the case because I've actually, I saw a clip yesterday, I think it was, from the boys at Mind Pump. Now, if anyone doesn't know Mind Pump, I highly recommend following them. They're very insightful, very knowledgeable, really smart guys from the UK and talk a lot about health and fitness, but they talk the facts. And that's what I love. But this one really caught my attention and I thought, you know what, this is worthwhile sharing to my audience because a lot of people who listen to my podcast probably aren't even aware of Mind Pump. So I am giving the Mind Pump guys full credit for this, but I'm going to obviously detail it in my own little way because it is so relatable, it is so relevant, and I see it happen all the time. And that is the people that fail to build muscle or fail to get stronger or fail to progress in the gym. And there's 5 types of them, right? And this, you'll listen to this and you go, oh my God, that's so-and-so, or that's this person, or, you know, and a lot of coaches will really align with this because we see it all the time. I have conversations about this all the time, and there's 5 categories that people fall into often when they complain they're not making progress, they're not seeing gains, they're not losing weight, when it's very much training related. So I want to go through each one. I'll give a little bit of detail and explain obviously what I believe it to be. Also, you know, again, referencing the Mind Pump boys, but I think you'll listen to this and you go, oh my God, I know that person. So the first one, the first type of person is the program hopper. Okay, so the program hopper is someone who jumps between programs before essentially finishing the one they're on. They never give their body time to adapt or progress because they're constantly looking for change. They're constantly jumping from program to program, the next great thing, the new shiny toy. They might see something online, they'll download it, then they'll see someone training a different one, they go, I want to do that, and then their friend will be doing something and I want to do that. They never actually see out a program. Now, if you actually follow my content, you'll know that for ongoing success on any particular movement, repetition is king. And when we say repetition, we're talking 8+ weeks minimum before you change up a program. And for those of you that actually follow my Instagram stories, you would have seen that I'm on week 30. This coming week will be 31 of a particular movement called a Smith machine pedale row. And I've stuck with that one because 1, it feels good. 2, I'm making progress. 3, I'm really comfortable in it. And 4, I want to just keep pushing. I'm not getting bored of it. I'm not getting sick of it. I'm continuing to see progress in some way, shape or form. So 31 weeks. That'll be this week, 31 weeks. That's well and truly 3/4 of a year that I've been on the same movement. So the program hopper, it's doing yourself a disservice. You're not actually progressing in any way, shape or form. Even though you may be moving around the gym a lot and exercising a lot and walking away sweating and stuff, if your true goal is to get stronger, if your true goal is to get more muscle mass, if your true goal is to change your physique, you're doing yourself a disservice by jumping between programs. So stick to the same program, learn to love the movements and get better at them. Okay, the next one, and this is a common one. This is ridiculously common. This is the chronic dieter. So the person who is always dieting. They always look for the latest diet. They're always in a calorie deficit. They stay in a calorie deficit too long, and this limits their recovery and removes fuel they need to build muscle because they're constantly starving themselves. They're constantly under the threshold of what their body needs in terms of energy. So how are they meant to grow? How are you meant to lose weight? How are you meant to have heightened energy throughout the day when you're constantly in a deficit? The chronic dieter, it is one of the worst situations we have in modern society at the moment because so many people are constantly looking for ways to lose fat and lose weight. But also, then they go out on the weekend and they pig out and they binge and they drink and, all of a sudden they've undone all their work. So they're not necessarily in a deficit over 7 days. They're just in a deficit, say, 4.5 days. But they constantly chase a diet and they're constantly eating low calories. And this is going to diminish your opportunity to grow. It's going to diminish your returns from the gym. It's going to impact your ability to sleep properly, because we all know you need energy to sleep. It's going to impact your ability to think clearly. It's going to impact your ability just to be a good family person, a partner, a parent. So don't be a chronic dieter. You only want to stay in a dieting period for a short period of time. You get in, you get the work done, you be really adherent, then you get out. And then you sit at maintenance for a while. And then if you feel you need more work done, you go into another dieting period. You don't diet for months and months and months, years and years and years on end, unless it's for a very specific reason. And obviously bodybuilding is one of those. But if it's for lifestyle, if it's for general improvement, if it's for just general body composition, you take your time, you get in, you get out, you get professional help. Don't just jump from diet to diet. So first one was program hopper. Second one was chronic dieter. The third one, the comfort zone lifter. The comfort zone lifter. I know plenty of people who fall into this category. I see it all the time in the gym. And it is basically an individual who uses the same weights and the same effort every single session. They avoid progression, so their body has no reason to grow. Now, granted, and there is a caveat to this, if you are comfortable going to the gym and just lifting the same weights and the same amount of reps with the same level of intensity every single time, that's fine. If that is what your goal is, to just turn up and just move your body, great, good on you, fantastic. But if your ambition, if your goal is to change your physique, is to quote unquote tone up, to improve your composition, show more detail, drop body fat, grow muscle mass, get stronger, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to create discomfort in the gym. And I mean a lot of discomfort. And people often don't realize the level they have to go to in terms of that discomfort to actually force their body to change. I encourage anyone listening to this going, oh, I train pretty hard, come and do a PT session with me. Come and do a PT session with me and I'll show you what that level is actually like. And that's not me, skylarking and peacocking and going, oh, I'll smash you. It's not. It's about maintaining a high level of intensity for a duration that is sustainable, that showcases what you can truly achieve. And often when I get clients in my gym, which I'm in right now, and they do a session or two after a couple of weeks ago, my God, I didn't realize how much more I could actually lift. And it's because people, as human beings, we're not aware of our full potential. We really don't know it because we've never seen it. We don't know what we're capable of until we're actually pushed by somebody else. And I often say, when you're doing a PT session with someone, you can always find another 10 or 15% effort that you didn't know you had, because we often stay in the safeguards of that comfort zone. So by eliminating that comfort zone and pushing yourself into an uncomfortable position, you're going to grow. You're going to teach your body to grow. But not only is your body going to grow and obviously change, so is your mind. Your mind will learn how to tolerate more stimulus, more discomfort, more adversity, develop more resilience. How good is that? Wouldn't you want that in general life anyway, that you can apply to anything that gets thrown at you? So that is the comfort zone lifter. So that is the first three: program hopper, chronic dieter, comfort zone lifter. The next one is the inconsistent trainer. You miss sessions or lack structure week to week. You never stack enough consistent weeks together to see real change. And this is, again, with the caveat of, if someone's just turning up to the gym and doing their own thing and they're just making stuff up as they go along and they're content with that, all the power to you. But if you are complaining that you're not seeing results, if you're complaining that you're not getting further, you're not progressing in the gym, your physique isn't changing, and then you might train on a Tuesday and a Wednesday one week, and then a Wednesday the next week, and then 3 days the following week. And look, granted, again, caveat, if you're a shift worker or if your work showcases, or not showcases, if your work is very much dictating how many days a week you can train, but from that perspective you are consistent, then that's okay. But this particular inconsistent trainer, they might turn up one week and do a little bit of cardio, and then the next week they might do some weights, and then they'll do a grip fitness class, and it's a mix and mash of nothing. There's no actual consistency in terms of application and execution, and that's what I'm talking about. You've got to apply yourself, you've got to execute technique and intensity, and you've got to turn up and do repetition over and over and over again to be consistent. So that's the inconsistent trainer. Right, and the fifth and final one is the recovery ignorer. So, self-explanatory, right? They focus on training, but neglect sleep and nutrition. And as we know, muscle is built during recovery, not during the workout. You can train your guts out. You can be the best trainer in the world. You could be the best dieter in the world. But if you're not prioritizing your rest, your recovery, your stress management falls into this as well, your body's not going to go anywhere. In fact, it's going to maintain a high level of inflammation because you're not giving it the opportunity to down tools, disconnect, repair, recover, restore, to go again. So important. People heavily underestimate sleep, heavily underestimate. And we're kind of in that culture at the moment where, you can sleep when you're dead and you've got to grind and hustle. And, if you're running a side hustle or if you're running a small business, you can sleep when you're dead and, pull 14 hours and all this sort of stuff. And great, that's fantastic. And good luck to you if that's your ambition. But at what risk? Are you creating chronic illness within you because you're not giving yourself an opportunity to switch off? Are you creating a mental health illness because you're not giving your body and your mind an opportunity to switch off? Are you creating a weakness, a level of lethargy, fatigue in your body because you're not switching off? Are you training 6 to 7 days a week with no rest days because you think more is better when actually less is better? These are the sorts of things that you have to consider. And often I get the comment about, can I train 7 days? Well, you shouldn't be training 7 days. You should be as a bare minimum, unless you're a professional athlete, if you're just general population and your objective is lifestyle improvements, 5 days. 5 days is it. You don't need to push any more than that. If you want to do extra activity beyond the 5 days, and I'm talking outside of a gym training session, go for walks, go for swims, go for a surf, go for a bike ride, go play golf, whatever the case may be, but give your body and your mind an opportunity to rest. And the reason I say that, and again, this goes back to one of the previous points, is that people that actually train properly and train with high stimulus and train into a uncomfortable position on every single exercise they do need that time off. They need that break. It's another example where I often get the query about, do you do hour PT sessions? Well, no, I don't. And the main reason is because my primary focus, besides technique and ensuring that people train correctly, is high intensity workouts. We train hard in the gym. So it's a 30-minute PT session and people think, well, that's not enough time. I normally train for an hour and a half. Well, you haven't trained with me. And again, that's not me peacocking myself. That's just the nature of the beast. I'm here to train you hard and you do not have the stamina to last beyond 30 minutes when we train hard. And again, that's not flogging you. That's not making you do some stupid military boot camp or anything. It's high repetition, high intensity, heavy load, a mixture of all those things, low reps, whatever the case may be, because it's obviously structured and customized to the individual. Whatever that needs to be, that's what we do. But the rest periods are short, the focus is high, and the intensity and output is significant. So, in terms of recovery, you've got to prioritize it. You should be scheduling your rest days just like you schedule your training days. That's how I look at it. So what are your rest days? Maybe you train Monday to Friday and then you have a rest day on the weekend. Great, fantastic, that's fantastic. So that means come Monday, you should be nice and refreshed because you had 2 days in a row off. Or do you rest, Wednesdays and Saturdays? Like for me, I generally rest Tuesdays and Sundays. And that's just how it works. And I've had to integrate that into my work schedule as well. And that is something that has to be considered. So, it's really interesting having listened to this clip that I saw and then now speaking about it, these five particular individuals and their reasons are the reasons why you don't progress. And this I reckon comfortably, this would be maybe 60 to 70% of people in a gym at any given time. Trying to find the shortest way, the quickest way, the easiest way to progress. And often they have to undo what they believe is correct. They have to pick one that works and then fix it to ensure that they improve. Stop chasing a new program, stop chronically dieting, get out of your comfort zone, be more consistent, prioritize recovery, and I guarantee you will have success. There's no doubt in my mind that you will have success. All the science, all the research supports that. But unfortunately, we're still living in the past where everyone relies on scale weight to determine whether they're happy or sad for the day. Everyone sort of relies on intermittent fasting and silly diets and all these sorts of things that really don't serve any additional benefit other than what they are perceived to be. So let's not look for shortcuts anymore. Let's focus on what we know, and that is sustainable practices, consistent approach, turn up every single day when you need to, train really hard, eat according to your calorie intake, whether it's a deficit, a surplus or maintenance, and obviously get the professional help you need. Don't chronically diet, don't jump between programs. Programs should run, like in my opinion, if I could, I'd run programs 12 weeks plus, because I know people would benefit from them more. I stick with 8 because that seems to be the magic number for most people where they don't lose interest. But if you're a client that you're listening to this right now and you go, you know what, I'd stick to 10 or 12, I would like that, great. Let me know and I'll make that happen. And I think the biggest one out of all of these, besides the obvious, is just getting out of your comfort zone. I see it all the time where people will just do, they'll lift weight, what they think is hard, oh yeah, that's heavy, then I'll move on. No. It needs to be uncomfortable. It needs to be, to a point where there is, and I don't like using this word, but there is an element of pain that goes with training weights. Because at the end of the day, that is your muscles it is effectively your muscles tearing, your fibers in your muscles tearing, and then the sleep and recovery is the repair process. And you want to tear your muscles, you want to make your muscles, you want to damage your muscles basically. It's called mechanical damage. You want to damage your muscles so that they repair overnight, they repair stronger so they can tolerate the same load or more the next time you do that exercise. That's effectively what it is. All right, I will wrap up there. So, program hopper, let's stop doing that. Chronic dieter, let's stop doing that. Comfort zone lifter, let's get out of our comfort zone and get into a period of discomfort. Inconsistent trainer, focus on consistency. And the recovery ignorer, you have to focus on your recovery. Do all those things or flip those things and I guarantee you'll have success. So thank you once again for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If any of these particular topics are of relevance to a person you know, or you go, you know what, that's Scott in the gym, or that's Joanne in the gym, or that's my friend or my sister or whatever, share this podcast to them and then that might give them some inspiration but also some knowledge and education around what they shouldn't be doing and how they can fix it. I know some people are very set in their ways and they don't like change, but often with change comes change, and that's a good thing. So thank you once again. If you're interested in any of my coaching services, jump on paulsbodyengineering.com. Currently, I am running a 30-day free period on my membership. There is over 60 programs available for access. 30 days for free. You just got to jump on the website and look for Paul's Strength Book or through my Instagram bio. 30 days for free. No obligation there. If you get to day 29, you go, you know what, that's not for me, you can opt out, there's no problem. But there is over 60 programs, there's recipe books, there's a macro calculator, there's videos on progressive overload, there's videos on all sorts of stuff that'll provide you with more education so you can have a resounding improvement in your health and fitness. But for now, as I say, to every single client, every single day, have yourself a great day.